Hello there. Let's take a look at what to expect across Europe, and a satellite picture illustrates quite nicely that there's a good deal of dry weather through the Mediterranean at the moment. There's a weather front threatening as it moves in from the Atlantic. That'll affect the northwest of the UK through Tuesday onwards, and fair amount of cloud driven along by a westerly breeze here over the next few days. But for much of Spain, Portugal, France, it's fine and settled. A few sharp showers into southern Italy, the Balkans, and also for Greece and for Turkey, similar to what we've seen in recent days, but not as extensive. So there'll be some lovely warmth to go with that sunshine, perhaps mid-20s to low 30s over the next few days, warming up quite nicely in Spain after a recent disappointing spell of weather. We'll see a fair amount of cloud across northern France, Germany and the Low Countries, and not quite as warm as it has been in Scandinavia. In fact, wet across that west coast of Norway. So that's the story as we go through the middle of the week. Not much in the way of change. A relatively quiet story. Showers will be fairly isolated. A good deal of sunshine really starting to dominate the picture. And in fact, let's take a look at the city forecast. And you can see it's a dry, settled theme through London, Paris, Madrid and even Rome as well. But it looks as though Madrid will see the best of the sunshine and the heat as well. A few showers turning to longer spells of rain for Moscow maybe as we approach the weekend. Take care. Hello there. Plenty to talk about in North America at the moment. Let's start off with the latest satellite picture. There is a weather front really stretching through the northern Rockies, across the plains over to the Great Lakes. I'll come back to that in just a moment. Further south, this clump of cloud moving up through the Gulf of Mexico could bring some heavy rainfall to parts of Texas. At least 300 millimetres, maybe as much as 500, could lead to some localised flooding as well. So we'll certainly need to keep a close eye on that. But let's take a look at this rain further north. And if we move off to the northwest, you can see that there is a drier, brighter spell through British Columbia for the time being. So it looks quite pleasant here, but just head further inland, there's some rain, and that's really affecting state of Washington in particular, some of it heavy. Now, there'll be a bit of a northerly breeze just running down along that west coast, so temperatures through San Francisco and Los Angeles, not as warm as they can be at this time of year. We're looking at high 20s, that's the low 70s in terms of Fahrenheit over the next few days, but there's a good deal of dry weather in the forecast. So rain moving across the Great Lakes over to Canada. And in fact, there's some warmth developing in Canada. More on that in just a moment. Good dry slot really to the south of that front down into Tennessee. From Georgia further south, we pick up a few sharp showers, thundery with it. It's quite hot and humid in parts of Florida. We're looking in the mid-30s. That's the mid-90s in terms of Fahrenheit. Hello there. Let's take a look at what to expect with the weather in South America. And if we start off with the latest satellite picture, it's showing that there is a little bit of cloud down to the south, and that's where the wettest of the weather is likely to be. Not as cold as it has been, though, in recent days, but we will see some rain across parts of Chile. Now, further north across the Amazon basin, we got some rain, but not as extensive as that can be at this time of year, the heaviest of which is likely to be across Colombia, Venezuela, and also into the northwest of Brazil as well. Now, further south, there'll be a few coastal showers, as you can see, dotted around, but they should intersperse with some decent spells of sunshine and temperatures still in the mid to high 20s. Fine, settled and sunny for Paraguay, Uruguay, and then stretching down into Argentina. There's that wet weather I was talking about earlier on. But the story for the next few days really shows a good deal of quiet weather in the forecast. The best of the sunshine and the warmth perhaps likely into Rio de Janeiro. Now, for Mexico, we'll have some sharp showers through the Monday, particularly across Mexico, stretching down into Central America. Showers should be fairly isolated. It's a similar story as well into the Caribbean. If you catch a shower, you'll be unlucky. They'll be pretty fleeting. They'll clear away to lengthy spells of sunshine and some warmth. And the city forecast shows this quite clearly as well. 32 degrees likely in Kingston for much of the week. Take care. Hello there. Expect a forecast for Australia and New Zealand coming up shortly. But first off, let's take a look at what's happening across Asia. And you can see on the satellite picture, fairly extensive looking cloud, most of that up to the south of Japan. That's the remnants of a storm, which is still going to brush to the south of Japan and still bring with it a lot of heavy rainfall. So you can see that quite clearly. Now that extends across central and southern areas of China. We'll also see a lot of heavy rain into Taiwan as well. Now south of that, showers across northern Thailand and Vietnam, heavier, more extensive rain into southern Vietnam and Thailand, and then generally through Malaysia and Indonesia, we've got some heat of the day showers expected. So the story is quite a showery one, really, and over the next 5 days, we'll see those showers easing away to some spells of sunshine by the end of the week. It stays a little more unsettled into Osaka. There's a weather front that's making its way through Western Australia at the moment. That will bring some wet and windy weather through the bight. Ahead of it, it's largely fine and quiet. A few showers just easing away from Sydney. Rather windy through the Tasman Sea. And it does look as though we'll see some wettest weather really across the North Island of New Zealand. To the south, it stays rather cloudy, but still relatively quiet, it has to be said, by the middle of Tuesday afternoon. City forecast looks somewhat like this over the next 5 days. An improving picture in Wellington, more sunshine as we move towards the weekend. Hello there. As the monsoon rains are in full swing now across South Asia, there are warnings out for heavy rain, potential for flooding across Kerala, Tamil Nadu and also Karnataka. And if we look at the satellite picture, you can see the storm clouds brewing quite clearly. At the same time, we've got heat up into the far northeast and also affecting Bangladesh. But the heavy and more persistent rain really stretching from south of Mumbai, as you can see, across that Kerala coastline. Be quite windy with it as well. Up into the northwest, it's a little quieter. We've got some drier weather to be found as well. So let's look at that in a little more detail. As for Kazakhstan, we're seeing a little bit of fair weather cloud and not as warm as it has been, but you have to just move a little bit further south into Tashkent, despite a scattering of showers, temperatures likely into the mid-20s. Kabul in Afghanistan, similar story as well. Now, as we move down along that west coast, there's that heavy rainfall I've already spoken about. A few scattered showers into Sri Lanka, stretching up though into the far northeastern states. It's the heat that's the talking point, at least 39 to 42 degrees over the next few days. So some extensive rain is likely. The rain continues into Mumbai for the next few days. Dhaka stays pretty cloudy with it as well. As for Tashkent, we see that sunshine and those temperatures still staying in the mid-30s over the next few days. Hello there. We're expecting a localised shamal across the Middle East over the next few days. More on that in just a moment. But first off, let's take a look at Africa. And we start off with a satellite picture. You can see the shower clouds close to the equator developing. And the heaviest of the rain looks likely to be through the Gulf of Guinea. This clump of cloud here producing some rainfall, as it tends to at this time of year, all travelling steadily east to west. To the north of that, we'll have a cooler breeze, perhaps across Morocco over the next few days. To the south of that, we could potentially continue to see some showers into Cape Town and temperatures into the mid-teens. So you can see that on the city forecast over the next few days. The best of the sunshine looks likely to be in Johannesburg. Despite that northerly wind across parts of North Africa, the temperatures are still into the low 20s, I suspect, over the next few days for Casablanca. Khartoum, though, seeing temperatures peaking at 40 degrees. Now, a localised shamal could bring some lifted dust. The local wind, as you can see quite clearly, moving through the Gulf, and that could bring some poor visibility as well. Not really hampering the temperatures, still likely to peak in some places into the mid-40s, but that's certainly worth bearing in mind over the next few days. Further south of that, it will largely be fine, dry and settled. Most of the showers really up into the north, affecting Turkey and into parts of Georgia. So the city forecast shows the blue sky and sunshine continuing.